In the last Create Mod video, I built a 300 block runway and took my BF-109 on its first flight. Today I want to expand my airfield with taxiways and parking spots for airplanes. But what good is having a massive airfield if you only have one plane? That's why I'm also going to be building another historical aircraft, the Supermarine Spitfire. Also remember to like and subscribe. Okay, start the video. Oh my god, these guys. Get off my runway. We gotta do something about them. Okay, so before I actually look at airfield expansions, I need to get a source of food going. Preferably an automatic source of food. I would like to automate the production of egg sandwiches. It shouldn't be that difficult. We just need to automate wheat and craft it into bread and have a chicken constantly laying eggs that get automatically cooked. And there we go, in this little shed out back, with this very messy, chaotic system that is very inefficient, I now technically have automatic egg sandwiches. It's not very fast. I probably do need to expand the wheat farm if I want it to go any faster, but it's better than nothing. I've been laying out the paths of some of our taxiways here. This is going to come off the runway, go along here. We have a couple other entrances to the runway. And over here is going to be an area for parking airplanes and refueling and all that stuff. And we'll probably have some hangars over here eventually. I don't know how realistic any of this is. I'm just kind of looking at pictures and doing something kind of like what I see. And more importantly, something that looks cool. But before we take this any further, I mentioned I'd be making another plane. So let's go do some design work. All right, so here we've got a copy of my BF-109, which I've stripped of all its metal blocks. And we're going to be adapting this into a Spitfire. These planes are a very similar shape and size, so it's going to be a challenge to differentiate them, but the first thing I'm noticing is that the Spitfire definitely has a longer wingspan. It's like a 1.5 meter difference on the real thing. Obviously this is scaled up by a third, so it's going to be a little different, but I'm just going to try to make a shape that looks good here. The wing definitely comes to a bit more of a point at the tip than on the 109, which is kind of hard to do, but I think this is about as good as it's going to get. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. It's not quite as pointy as I'd like, but it's fine. The tail wings definitely have a more pronounced sort of swoop back curve as well. I'm going to try to get that in there, maybe like this. Maybe that's better. I feel like the Spitfire also has a slightly less bulky nose. Something like that might be a little more accurate. Feels like the start of the canopy is maybe like just half a block further back also. I don't know if I can really do that. Well, maybe. What if I do this? I mean, it's a little better, I guess. In fact, the whole back of the fuselage is a little bit skinnier, and that's gonna be tough to do because this is where all the machinery is. Like, I don't really know how much I can get away with changing this. Okay, we can maybe do this. Is it better just like this, though? Then you can kind of see the blaze burner, which I don't love. I think I'll just see how that looks when I put the metal back on. Landing gear are going to be the same. Unfortunately, I can't figure out a way to make the landing gear retract. I couldn't do it on the 109, and I don't see a way to do it here either. At least not without significantly sacrificing the aesthetics, which I'm not willing to do. Let me know if you have any ideas about that, though. I think this is a pretty good silhouette now. It's sufficiently different from the BF-109. I wish I could thin out this area more, but this is basically all I can do. I mean, it's so packed in there. Anyway, let me get some decorative blocks and give this a paint job. There you go, that's my design for the Supermarine Spitfire. And the reason I'm using Loco Metal instead of armor blocks is that these don't have crafting recipes, unfortunately. They're not survival friendly, no crafting recipes. You can probably add recipes with data packs somehow, but I don't know how to do that. So yeah, basically we can't use these, which is a shame because there's a lot of colors in here that are a lot closer to the actual paint on the ones that I'm looking at. But unless someone can tell me an easy way to add recipes for those, we're not using them. Now let's give this thing a test flight. Handles basically exactly the same as the 109. We've got guns. We have had some mod updates. We're now on the newest Create Aeronautics, as well as the newest Sable, and the newest Create Big Cannons, which had a lot of bug fixes, namely, most importantly for us, bullets now include the velocity of physics entities when fired from a physics entity. So previously, autocannons on a plane like this would have not added the airplane's velocity to the bullet velocity when it spawns the projectile, but now they do, so it works properly. So there you go, there's the Spitfire next to its mortal enemy, the BF-109. Now let's go build this thing in survival. Alright, well for this airfield expansion, I'm gonna need a lot of stone. But obviously I'm not gonna mine in Minecraft. I'm just gonna have my giant drill machine do it for me. Alright, well we've got sort of a tarmac area here. I believe it's called an apron, the area where all the airplanes get to park, as well as some taxiways here. It's not finished, and part of the reason it's not finished is because we need to go on a little adventure. What I want to do is build the markings on this out of yellow terracotta, because it's probably the closest color to the markings I'm looking at on the real images. I've actually been on Google Earth looking at airports, and they all seem to have these yellow markings on the taxiways. But I'm going to need a bunch more terracotta if I want to do this. In addition to that, the Spitfire requires brown and green dye for the metal blocks. But of course, brown dye requires cocoa beans, and green dye requires cactus. There is a desert, a jungle, and a badlands down to the south of us, about 2,000 blocks to the south. So we're going to take the BF-109 on a little journey to collect those resources. Let's turn this thing around. This is how I move my airplanes. I'm aware that I could probably build a little car to push them around. Somebody actually recommended I do that. And I do plan to try and make something like that eventually, but for now, you know, this works pretty good. Hopefully this is enough fuel. We might have to pick up some more while we're there. Rudder, check. Ailerons, check. Elevators, check. Let's go. I think there's a pretty big flat area in the desert where we should be able to land. Alright, it's not as flat as I maybe thought, but we can probably put it down like right over here. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Perfect landing. Welcome to the desert. What are these? Tomatoes? The desert? Oh, there's a lava pool here. That's good. I didn't think this would be a place where tomatoes would grow. Look at this. This area is kind of sick with the Badlands Mountains surrounding this desert. There's a village over there. Look at this. There's straight up yellow terracotta right here. I don't even gotta dye it. Look at that, we got a giant pyramid over there. Wonder what kind of loot we might find in that. I'm not gonna raid it right now, but we'll probably be back in the future. We've actually got a couple of different villages here. That one is covered in oil for some reason. We got a cat. Dang, I don't have any fish. I'll be back. All right, I got a bunch of cactus. Let's go get some cocoa beans. I'm also gonna grab a bunch of bamboo while I'm here. And there they are, the cocoa beans. Should also chop down some of these trees so I can grow the beans at home. And that is all we need. Let's get out of here. There we go, just enough room to take off. That might be the best landing I've ever had. I mean, we weren't really on the runway, but that was actually very smooth. And look at this, we can park the plane over in the parking area. Nice. All right, I got all the materials here, so let's build a Spitfire. Alright, maiden voyage of the Spitfire. Here we go. See if I can follow the taxiway here. Alright, that looks pretty lined up to me. Let's fuel up. Here we go. Beautiful landing. Did everybody see that? That was peak. There's only one problem with this plane. We still don't have any guns, which means we wouldn't put up a very good defense if the Luftwaffe decided to bomb London. I think we'll solve that problem in the next video.